You've probably snapped at someone you love over something completely ridiculous. A wet towel on the bed, a text left unread, a spoon in the wrong drawer. And the moment it was over, you felt embarrassed. Not because you were a bad person, because you had no idea why something so small made you feel so much. Here's the truth. There are exactly 3 reasons why small things make you explode. And once you understand all 3, and what to actually do about them, you'll never look at your own anger the same way again. Reason number 1. The full glass effect. Think of your emotional capacity like a glass of water. Every stressful moment throughout your day adds a little more water to it. A bad night's sleep, a difficult conversation at work, a deadline you're behind on, traffic that made you late. By the time someone leaves a wet towel on the bed, your glass isn't half full. It's already overflowing, and the towel gets the blame for all of it. You're not actually angry at the towel, you're angry at everything that filled the glass before it. The towel just happened to be there when it spilled. In 1962, psychologist Leonard Berkowitz proved this in a simple experiment. He made one group of people hold their hands in ice-cold water for several minutes, and another group of people without the ice-cold water, normally standing. Then both groups were given the chance to give electric shocks to a complete stranger. The group that held their hands in ice-cold water gave significantly more shocks. They weren't angry at the stranger. They were just already uncomfortable, and that discomfort needed somewhere to go. The lesson is simple. The size of your reaction has almost nothing to do with the size of the trigger. It has everything to do with how full your glass already was. Reason number 2, the drained battery. Here's something most people don't realize. Self-control isn't a personality trait. It's a resource. And just like your phone battery, it drains throughout the day. In 2011, researchers studied judges making parole decisions throughout a single day. In the morning, judges approved parole about 65% of the time. By the end of the day, that number dropped to nearly 0. Same judges, same cases. Completely different outcomes. The only thing that changed was how mentally drained they were. This is why arguments happen most often at night, not because the evening is more stressful, because by then, your ability to stay patient and calm is running on empty. You've been making decisions, managing emotions, and dealing with people all day. By the time someone sends you a one-word reply, you have nothing left to absorb it with. So it hits you harder than it should. Call this the drained battery effect. When your battery is full in the morning, you handle things gracefully. When it's at 5% by 10 p.m., a misplaced spoon feels like a personal attack. It's not weakness, it's just basic human biology. Now here's the 3rd reason. And this one might actually surprise you, because it has nothing to do with stress or tiredness or a bad day. It's about who you are as a person, and the people it affects most are not who you'd expect. Reason number 3. The deep care paradox. Research consistently shows that the people who get angry over small things most often are not difficult people. They're not people with short fuses or bad attitudes. They're actually some of the most caring, high-achieving, deeply empathetic people around. Here's why. People who care deeply about their relationships invest enormous emotional energy into them. They notice things. They remember things. They have high standards for how they treat others, and how they expect to be treated in return. So when something small goes wrong, a towel, a text, a tone of voice, it doesn't feel small to them. It feels like evidence of something. Evidence that their effort isn't being matched. Evidence that they're not being considered. The anger isn't really about the towel, it's about what the towel represents. Call this the deep care paradox. The more you care, the more a small thing can feel like a big thing. Because to you, nothing about the people you love is actually small. Now that you know the 3 reasons, let's talk about what you can actually do about them. Because understanding your anger is only half the work. Fix number 1. Empty your glass before it overflows. You can't always control what fills your glass throughout the day, but you can build small habits that empty it before it reaches the edge. Physical movement is the fastest way to do this. Even a 10-minute walk after a stressful day physically reduces the stress hormones sitting in your body. You're not just clearing your head, you're literally reducing the water level in the glass before you walk through your front door. Another simple habit. Before you react to something small, ask yourself one question. Is this actually about this moment, or am I already full? That 1 second of pause is often enough to catch yourself before the glass tips over. People who regularly empty their glass don't overflow as easily. It's about making sure the stress doesn't accumulate silently until something small tips it over. Fix number 2. Recognize low battery hours. The single most effective thing you can do is recognize your low battery hours. Most people have a consistent window in the day when their patience is thinnest. For most people, it's between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m., right after work, before the day fully winds down. Once you know your low battery window, two things help enormously. First, avoid high-stakes conversations during that window when you can. Don't bring up something important when you know your battery is already drained. Tell the person, I want to talk about this properly. Can we come back to it in the morning? That's not avoidance. That's wisdom. Second, recharge deliberately before your low battery window hits. Even a 20-minute break in the afternoon, away from screens, away from decisions, can meaningfully restore your patience for the evening. Think of it as plugging in before you hit zero. Fix number 3. Learn to separate the symbol from the act. The fix here isn't to care less. Caring less isn't realistic. And it's not something you'd actually want. The fix is to get better at separating the symbol from the thing. When you feel disproportionate anger over something small, try asking yourself this: what is this actually about for me? Not, why is this towel wet? But, what does this towel make me feel like is being communicated to me? Most of the time, when you name the deeper feeling, I feel like my effort isn't being valued, or I feel like I'm not being considered, the anger loses some of its intensity. Because now you're dealing with the real thing, not the symbol. And once you can name it, you can actually talk about it. I've been feeling a bit undervalued lately is a conversation. Why is the towel on the bed again? Is not. The same feeling. Completely different outcomes. Small anger is never really about the small thing. It's about a glass that got too full, a battery that ran too low, or a heart that cares so deeply that even small things feel significant. None of those things make you broken. They make you human. But now you have 3 reasons and 3 fixes, and that's where change actually starts. Not with being less emotional, but with understanding what your emotions are actually trying to tell you. If this gave you something real to think about, subscribe. Because this is exactly what we do here every week. The hidden reasons behind why you feel what you feel, the stuff nobody really explains. And drop a comment. Which of the 3 reasons felt most like you? I read every single one.